the weekend kicked off with the Chiefs and Drua. Nels, do you want to kick us off with that one?
Yeah, mate, this makes 8 in a row for the Chiefs, not for Fiji. 8 from 8, winning this one 50-17 against the Fijian Drua. Bucketing down in rain, which you would normally assume makes it a really messy game. And at parts it was, but it was still an all-out attacking affair. 5 tries in the first 40 minutes, 40-odd points scored. Both teams were willing to throw the ball around, which was great. Radama and Rona had great games. Rona with 120 metres and 2 tries assists. I don't know what it is about him. I still look at him and just go, nah, he's not going to do that well. And then he's been doing pretty well. So don't judge a book by the cover. He's been killing it.
Particularly for an uncontracted member of the Chiefs squad.
Yeah.
There's been this great articles about he'd be back labouring on, I think he's a concreter on the trade site right now if there wasn't all those injuries. But no, he's certainly played well. I think this is the best footy I've ever seen played in pouring rain. Like it was, skill execution in that first half was unbelievable. So huge game, and from both sides as well. It actually fell off in the second half when it stopped raining. Like the game slowed down. I think the Chiefs didn't actually score until about the 70th minute, and then they scored quite a few tries in the last 10. But it was a really good game, that one, and the Chiefs ended up 50-17. I think I'm not sure if you already mentioned the score, but and that was the first one. And then that took us on to the next game of the round. We had the Rebels and the Crusaders, and again, what a game this was. The Rebels ultimately going down 27-43. I guess the scoreline that doesn't, it feels like we always end up saying a scoreline that's not quite indicative of the game, but just to show, I guess, how so in this case, the Rebels came out absolutely firing, and they were ahead by 12 points at halftime. It was 24-12. I think the Crusaders were just stunned by the Rebels. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, I think the line D, or even just the speed of the defensive line of the Rebels and the physicality of them as well was really just stunning the Crusaders. Obviously, the Crusaders are a class outfit. They were always going to come back firing in that second half, and the Rebels really dictated the pace in that first half, and it actually, I think, left them wanting a little bit in the last 20, 30 minutes. Unfortunately, they pushed the Crusaders around the paddock and defensively were amazing, but they just couldn't keep it up for that 80 minutes. And if they can manage that for 80 minutes, they're going to be very tough to beat. But, they fell away, and we saw great games from Havili and Enor as well. So they've just got so many options. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought I put the Rebels in with a chance. I mean, you always kind of feel like it's the inevitable Crusaders comeback, but I thought the Rebels were in with a chance because they did one of the most important things ever, which was holding the Crusaders out at halftime, not letting them score that side just before halftime. But yeah, I mean, the Crusaders play their best footy in the last 20 minutes of every game, and it was just too much for the Rebels. Yep. All right, and then the next game we had the Blues and the Waratahs in Auckland. So the Rebels Crusaders was in Melbourne, but this one was in Auckland. Yeah. I mean, the Tars decided to rest a couple of key players with their Wallabies rest week, similar to when, the Brumbies went over to play the Crusaders and decided to rest all their players then. Interesting choices. I understand players have to be rested at some point throughout the season. Well, actually, I don't understand it. Personally, I just play them every game. But
it's not that long a season, seriously.
If you're playing in France and all these other competitions where you play heaps more games, maybe it makes sense. But, yeah, I mean, I guess... Nels, why don't you take us through? Who are all the players that weren't there?
So obviously we had Swinton with his 7-week ban. So he was out. We had Bell, Gleeson, Hannigan, Parecki, Sinclair, Taukipulu all out injured. And then when we throw in the resting protocols, we had Hooper, Fiketti, and Mark Nwanganitawasi, who all sat out as well. So I think we had 2 of our starting forwards, our main forwards, and there was maybe that were actually starting. And I think we had 4 or 5 of our backs. Plus the bench had a bunch of rookies on there as well. So that kind of hurt us. And towards the back end, the game sort of opened up more and more. We saw the introduction of one of the best nicknames in Super Rugby, Hunter the Combat Wombat Ward, which is something you're going to love. But yeah, look, leading into halftime, it felt like it was going to break open. The Tars kept themselves in with the sniff, 17-7, just before the half. And then Vailanu got his yellow card and Sullivan scored a try, then backed it up with a try just after the second half. Very Kiwi of the Blues, scoring just before and after the half, and then the floodgates opened.
That's it. I mean, I think, I don't know, you didn't go through these stats yet, did you? I mean, the Blues, ultimately, the Blues ran in 822 metres to the Tars 236, had almost double the tackle bus, triple the line breaks, and 15 times the offloads. So
15-1, yeah, far out.
So, yeah, when you take a quick look at the stats, unlike we were saying the Rebels Crusaders game, that, perhaps the scoreline didn't show the full story. It's pretty hard to go past the stats in the Blues Tars. So
yeah, it wasn't great. The love moving on from that one relatively quickly. The next one was the Force versus the Highlanders, and the Force got the job done for all us Aussies, whether you're a Force fan or not. I think every Aussie probably is a Force fan, but whether they're your first team or not, they got the job done 30-17 against the Highlanders. That's one in a row, mate. That's one in a row for the Aussies. I posted up on Twitter, is there panic stations yet? And there was quite a few concerned Kiwis that maybe it is. And I mean, it could grow from there. The Brumbies are up next, the next Aussie side, mate. And then who knows, the Highlanders are versing another Aussie side. So we could see more than one in a row.
As a country, you're only as good as your last match. And look, we don't look at the other three matches on the weekend. The last match an Australian team won. Harry and himself have often been called as discriminatory against the Force, but mate, I don't think there would have been anyone yelling louder than you two watching that game. I think we're all, particularly after that Rebels performance, we were all thinking, come on, can the boys get it done and bring it home? You did kind of feel this sense of inevitability. Like, I kind of felt like the Highlanders are going to find a way back somehow in this last 20 to 30 minutes, but credit to the Force, did a really good job.
Funny thing about the Force and the Rebels have shown us glimpses that they can cause some upsets. Backing this up and managing to do this regularly is a very different story. Ellen watched a few of the games this weekend, my wife, and she was saying the Rebels are her second favourite team, and she was pretty furious at the score at the back end of it because she thought they deserved more. And then she got behind the Force here as well, and she was someone cheering for Pullman as well. He got a good little offload, setting up a try, and it's a peaceful thing not having Harry abusing players on this pod. I was thinking about bringing Ellen in just for some positivity, but look, this was great for the Force. The Highlanders line-out was struggling, winning 2 of their own 7. Makaleo, other than that, was quite good in this outing, but their line-out, that's a worry. That lock partnership for them, I think, is a big concern. Obviously, Dixon not there, and Smith not there, and a few other people, but I mean, this is not great for the Highlanders. They've got to win against, was it the Rebels maybe, and then Moana and Fijian Drua. But if they go down against the Waratahs, hopefully with some reinforcements next week, this is really concerning for them. But great for the Force.
Absolutely, and I think it's particularly difficult because it's not like you can't say the Highlanders don't have the cattle. Like, they had a lot of their good players out there. Frizzell, Moreno, Michele too, both out there.
DeGroot, Makaleo, Ainsley.
Yeah.
Pari Parkinson. Harmon's a very good player. Umonga Jensen. Like, they have some talent there.
100%. So, mate, if Ellen's watching all this footy as well, given that Harry's on the bottom of the fantasy table, we might have to just bring her in as a replacement.
She could definitely do better. Put it out there.
Except we can't have her on the pod if she's going to be wearing a Souths jersey, but that's all right.
Yeah. You need a random South jersey, don't you?
No, you never need a random South jersey in a Draft Rugby Show.